and taking is davar,
Davar.
and time is
Then we have some dikduk, which means grammar. And for the foreseeable future, we're going to focus on verbs, and specifically verb classes, of which there are 7. And the very first verb class is known as pa'al. And again, for the sake of all our students, um, we use the pei ayin lamed as a paradigm, as a general example of a root, a Hebrew root, a shoresh, and we apply the verb class transformations to this root pei ayin lamed. The word pa'al means to work or to act. The Hebrew word po'el means a worker, and there's a workers' party in Israel called Maflaga Po'alim, the party of the workers. So Pa'al is used as a paradigmatic root for our study of the Hebrew verb classes, the 7 verb classes. Most of our verbs occur in this Pa'al, this active verb class, and we're going to encounter 4 of them in our verses from Samuel. Nancy, could you review for us these forms of the verbs and their translations?
Yes. Vayava.
Nice. Vayavo.
Vayavo. He came.
Right.
And he called is Vayikra.
Nice.
And he said is Vayomer.
Nice. Vayomer.
And then here it is Shom Ro. Shom O.
Good. Shom O. We had a bit of a challenge with this one in the previous class. There are a couple of things going on. There's the possibility of wanting to pronounce the vet as a vet rather than the entire combination as a cholam. You didn't have that issue, but for a moment there you were seeing a resh. So I know that that is another letter, the resh and the vav, which we can drill to get used to telling the difference there. But the second syllable is ayin as the consonant and cholam. So we have a simple consonant vowel combination, which gives us an open syllable o. Well done. Hear it. Let me speak to those. Have in every instance is a yud preceding the root. Yavo, yikra, yomer. If we eliminated the vav, we would have what's known as the future tense. Yavo means he will come. Ya means he will. Welcome, Subi, and welcome. Is there anybody else that needs admitted?
Thank you.
Good. Very nice. Yomer means he will say. So that is the prefix that gives us the future tense. But the Hebrew verses stick a vav at the beginning. Vayavo, Vayomer, Vayikra. And what that vav does is it changes the future tense into the past tense. Vayavo, he came. Vayikra, he called. Vayomer, he said. It's called the vav hahipuch, the overturning vav. It overturns the future tense and forces it into the past tense. As we continue to learn these verbs, you will see the yud preceding the root all the time as an indication of the future. Yavo, he will come. The shorish is, the root is bet vav aleph, bo, yavo, he will come. Kara, he called. Yikra, he will call. Yomer, he will say. Vayomer, and he said. Then we have, let me just make sure everybody's in. I think Joseph is letting folks in for me, but let me just be sure. Welcome, Joseph. Okay. The shom-o is an interesting one. Something else is going on here, guys. We have the Hebrew root shin, mem, ayin, shama, to hear. We have the famous Hebrew prayer, Shema Yisrael, hear, O Israel. Shomea is he, she, it hears. It's the present participle, shomea, hears. He, she hears. Shom-o is hears it or hear it. And we'll see how that functions in the verse. But the cholam at the end stands for the word it. Shom-o. He, she, he hears it. I should probably stick an S there. Okay. Now we have a brand new verb class called the heat pa'el. So what's going on with the heat pa'el? You see that we've taken a hey and a tav and joined it to the beginning of the root, the pa'el. Heat pa'el is known as the reflexive verb class. Reflexive means something that's being done to myself, being done to yourself. So I wash myself. I slap myself. I stand myself up. I don't just stand up, but I stand myself up. It's a reflexive condition. And its prefix is the chirik tav, eat. Yit yatsev, meet yatsev, tit yatsev. It's this eat, this chirik tav, that's saying something is being done to myself or to yourself or to himself or herself. And then again, we have the vav in the biblical verses, which is taking the future tense, yit yatsev, he will stand himself up, and turning it into vayit yatsev, he stood himself up. And interestingly, in the verse, we're really talking about God standing himself, and we wonder what that means, and that becomes a subject of interpretation, trying to understand the force of this verb in the verse as it refers to God. So that is an interesting challenge, and I think we may have time to sort of struggle through that a little bit, because we're just mainly focusing on the scripture lesson tonight. And then Nancy, could you give us the last verb class, the verbs in the PL, the intensive? Could you give us those kindly, Nancy?
Oh, yes. Before I say it, there's someone who wants to join.
Oh, we have. Oh, okay. Thank you. I don't see that person. I don't have anybody that
maybe perhaps she was waiting to be accepted, so maybe it got expired.
Oh, okay. All right. Generally speaking, Joseph, are you still trying to? Oh, is Joseph gone? Joseph, are you still trying to welcome the joiners, or is it a little bit too much for you tonight?
Yes, I'm letting them in.
So,
Yes,
okay, great.
thank you.
Okay, sure. So let's take a look at these last couple of verbs, Nancy, that are in the PL, the active intensive verb
Okay.
class.
Okay. Is daber is to speak,
Good.
and we have tetsile, tetsile, tetsilena,
Very
which is
nice.
they will ring.
Right, and that's referring to causing the ears to ring through a powerful sound that makes our ears ring. And it's a very interesting shoresh. I'll give it to you here because it's a little different than we're used to. We're usually used to a three-letter Hebrew root, but there are a group of, of roots or shorshim in the PL class that are actually four letters. And they repeat the same syllable twice. There are several of them, and they're actually a lot of fun. Let me type this one out for us. It's Sadi Lamed, Sadi Lamed. And let me get big. And the Chirik, Shva, Sere, Tzil Sail. To kids in the United States. Okay. It's to scare them a little bit because it's such a big word. I don't know. It means so bang, crash, snap, pop. These are onomatopoeic words. Tziltzel is Hebrew onomatopoeia. Tziltzel is like a ringing, clinging, metallic kind of sound to it. And it means ringing. Sophie and Shama. And we had a lot of